Hey guys, I'm back with my second video today about my Erin Condren Life Planner. For those of you who haven't seen the first one, I have the 2016 Rose Gold edition of the Erin Condren Life Planner, and I have the vertical layout. So I'm going to give a very quick tour just in case you haven't seen it, so you know how it's set up, so that way this goal setting post makes a little bit more sense. So in the front of this planner, you're going to have a section where you can write in your yearly goals. There are 12 boxes, so you can kind of do like one goal per month. You can break them up by family member or season or however you want. I have more than 12 goals for this year, so I went ahead and just kind of fit them in however I was able to. I wanted to also mention that I keep my yearly goals in Evernote as well. When I'm planning, it's easier for me to look in Evernote and fill out my planner accordingly than to like flip back and forth on the pages, but I still like having it in here. It's really nice. There are monthly tabs that include the full month spread, and then here in the right hand column they have a spot for monthly goals, and this is something that I didn't focus on too much until this year, and I'm really loving it because it allows me to break down my yearly goals into monthly chunks. And it's also really easy to reference because it's in this spot when I'm already looking at my calendar. I love that it's all together in the same place. The other bit is the weekly spread, and so like I said, I have the vertical version of the Erin Condren Life Planner, which is broken, each day is broken up into 3 boxes, and I chose this because it works best for me with the way I break up my days. The top section I labeled brand, and so it's related to anything having to do with social media, blogging, or anything related to my stationery business. The middle section is home, so it's anything that's around the house, cooking, menu, errands, anything like that. Mail, bills, all goes in this middle section. And then the bottom I have labeled as self, which are just things that I want to do for me. I like to try to focus on self-care, and so as silly as it sounds, sometimes writing it here helps me make sure that I actually achieve it. The bottom we have this blank spot, which I use for things that have a specific time, like an appointment or an event, something like that, so I can see quickly what I have going on in a given week. There's a spot for a thankful thought in the top left-hand corner, and then this empty sidebar here I've been using for my meal planning, but you can use it however you'd like, but I just put my menu here, which helps me keep track of, you know, when do I need to go to the store, what am I running out of, which days do I need to cook, which days are we going out, those types of things, which is really nice. So that's the weekly spread. At the end of each month, there's a blank section, a blank page, which I use a lot for making lists. You can see this is related to Casey's birthday week, but I've used them for all sorts of things, just random notes, books I've read, book challenge lists that I'm keeping track of, things like that. I think I mentioned in my other video I've been using it for planning events, and so, you know, like this I guess is more of a seasonal list, but things I want to do in the fall, things I want to do in the winter, you know, Halloween party food ideas, what people can bring, what I can make. This is this different game night type thing. I've been using them for my sister's shower, her baby shower prep. So, you know, things I need to do, invitations, RSVPs, thank you notes, decorations, food, etc. And even if this doesn't stay in my planner, it starts in my planner, and so I'm kind of setting myself up when I'm just sitting around and I, you know, maybe like have a moment and think of it, I can write it down and it's all together, which is really nice. And then the back just has a bunch of notes pages, which I use for various lists, things that I want to do and keep up with, as well as addresses, which I'm not going to show you. And here in the very back, I keep track of new things that I try on a given month, and some of them are really small, some of them are really big, but it's just kind of nice to look through and see like all the fun different new things that I've tried or done in a month. This last page I use for things that are happening in 2017 that we might want to go to or we might want to do, or maybe we've already bought tickets for. I can keep them here on these Post-its, and then now that I have my new planner, I can start putting them in my new planner. And then there's the 2017 calendar here, and some stickers, which come standard, and the Post-its that I added. If you want to hear about any of these things more specifically, I would watch the video that I filmed previously because I talk a lot about them. And then a pocket here, and a zipper pocket here with stickers and stamps and that kind of stuff. So I showed you my yearly goals here, and when we get into this goal setting stuff, I always set yearly goals, and I like that I can put them in this planner, but like I said, I've been using Evernote to keep those in a place where I can look at them anytime and look at them while I'm looking at my planner without having to flip through a bunch of pages. Evernote, if you don't know, is an app where you can make lists and checklists and stuff like that, and you can keep it on 2 devices for free right now. They recently changed that. It used to be more, which is too bad, but I keep it on my planner and I keep it on my work computer because during the day, if my brain is really buzzing or something, I can go into Evernote, just leave it open all day, and if I think of a list that I need to make, I'll just put it in there and it can be added to at any time, and I don't have to be like getting on my phone at my desk at work because I try not to do that a ton. It's not strict or anything, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I keep my yearly goals in there, so that way if I'm going through trying to write out my monthly goals, I can easily see them in Evernote at the same time without having to flip around a bunch. So other than the setup and the yearly goals, I'm going to talk about how I go about separating my goals into monthly goals and weekly goals. So for example, you can see on my yearly goals that I have a goal to read 50 books in a year, which I've done now, but the beginning of the year I came up with some more specific goals, and I basically just mathed it out and said, how many books do I have to read every month in order to meet 50 goals, 50 books read in the year. So we basically decided 5 a month was gonna get me there or over, and so it's okay if I don't quite make it. So as you can see here in February, my second monthly goal is read 5 books. So immediately, some things like that for your yearly goals, especially if they're measurable, are going to be easy to chunk out, and you'll automatically know how many you need to read every month, or however much of whatever you need to do every month. When I'm starting a month in my planner, I come up with my monthly goals. I add any events that I have coming up that aren't already in my planner. I'm pretty good about adding them immediately once I hear about them. But if I haven't yet, I'll go through. You can see that I have all my birthdays that I need to keep track of in here. This is Valentine's Day, and this is a concert we had tickets to, and then a trip. So you can see that like all of that at a glance is automatically there, and it's going to help me plan out when I can actually achieve these goals. It's going to help me know, hey, don't plan too many things that you're not going to have time for if this is a busy month. February really wasn't so bad. But if you take a look, for example, at November, there's something on quite a lot of days, if not multiple things on the same day. And you can see that I haven't even written my goals in here because that's how busy I've been. But the busier the month is, the less likely I'm going to pick really ambitious goals for the month. So you can I kind of try to do that all at the same time. Is say, how busy is this month? What do I have coming up? What do I want to do? So you can see in here, like I said, some of those are really easy to chunk out, like read the 5 books, try the 5 new recipes if you want to do 50 in a year. Some things only happen once, like we need to pre-plan our trip. We need to work on purchases and mail and things like that, those aren't necessarily going to be repeating things, but they are things that need to happen all the same. One of my yearly goals was to buy eco-friendly candles and an oil diffuser, And so you can see here, I just said get oil diffuser. So this is all pretty straightforward. I then transfer those into my weekly spreads as needed. So sometimes if my goal is to, plan one date with KC, then I might be like, what do we have coming up this month? Are any of these things going to be a date, or is it kind of just like, just an activity with a bunch of friends that doesn't count as a date? And so then it's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is coming out. That counts as a date if we go together, which we did. So I try to kind of chunk those things out into my weekly spreads so I can keep them in mind. Earlier in the year, I didn't really have as good a handle on this self section in my weekly spreads as I do now. So what I've been doing recently is putting in here, let's look at a different week. Okay, putting in here under my self section, every day, move, read, create, and floss. And so that kind of reminds me that I want to do all of those things in some capacity as many days as I can. So that's another way that I break it down. Because if I want to read 50 books in a year and I need to read approximately 5 per month, if I'm not seeing read anywhere in my weekly calendar, I might not do it. It kind of depends on what I'm up to, whether or not I will, but seeing it here is going to remind me, and even if I only get 10 minutes to read, it's kind of nice to have it here. And it's also not like it has to happen every day, but it just is a nice reminder visually, because again, I'm a super visual person. So that's kind of how I set myself up, how I move my goals from the yearly to the monthly to the weekly. Another thing that I do is, as I'm going through these goals at the end of the month, I'll check off obviously the ones that I finish. If I don't finish it, I'll put no, like an N for no, or maybe like an end for move that to November. Like this one here, watch 3 Disney movies. I only watched 1, but it's still nice to be able to see, oh, I watched 1. Like, that's enough. That's something. That's progress, even though I didn't complete my goal. So I think, like, for me, visually, that's really nice to be able to see. Another thing that I do to sort of keep myself on track and excited about goals is here in the self section, if I finish a book, for example, here I finished The Tumbling Turner Sisters, I write it in and I put some brackets around it, or I circle it or something, so that way as I flip through the weeks, I can easily see, like, hey, like, maybe I'm not reading 5 books this month, but I did finish 1 this week when we were, like, out of town for the first few days, or, I read 1 book back-to-back weeks. I also do that for Disney movies that we watch, and for sometimes goals that we have, like for dates, I will put in a big heart or something like that so I can easily see that we were on a date. Here's a good example of the Disney movie. So I want to watch 12 this year. And this week I watched 3, so you can easily see them, and when you look at the page, you know that they're there, and I can go through and kind of look at that quickly. It's a nice visual reminder, again, that even if I'm not done, I haven't completed my goal, that I am working on it and I'm making some kind of progress. The other thing that I do in a similar way, if I can find a good example of it, here in that column where I do the menu, I put in what we want to have each day and which days we're going out, etc. But here at the bottom, I put a little spot that says new recipes, because this year I want to try 50 new recipes. So then I can write, we tried 3 mason jar salads. These are the 3 types we did. So that's 3 total for this week. And then at the bottom there, you can see that the total overall for the whole year is 32. So again, that's another way to kind of see overall how I'm doing without having to go back and count, keep tallies on a different page. It just moves from one week to the next. So you can see this week we didn't do anything, but I still have that 32 at the bottom. I still have it again. These were busy weeks. These are all 32. This one, here we go. That one's 34. So you can see I can flip through these pretty quickly and see how we're doing. Especially if we're busy, I might feel like, oh, we've been out of town. You know, we've been too busy to cook, but I can still see like, hey, we still made 2 meals that week. That's pretty good. Because for us, like, that's a lot of our goal setting, is not being too hard on ourselves when we shouldn't, because it's actually discouraging and harmful to like actually achieving those goals. So yeah, again, another quick, easy way to see from week to week what's going on. Another thing I do that with is working out. So if I've done yoga or it just says move now, I'll circle it and you'll see how many minutes of activity I did. So 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and 15 minutes. You can see in here I wrote woohoo, because like, that's good. I did 2 things in one day. So it's kind of nice, again, visually just seeing exactly what it is that I have achieved. So overall, I think those things are working really well for me. I need to see things visually. I don't know if you guys are that way too or not, but it's really nice to just be able to look and immediately see, hey, even if you feel super stressed out, like you're not getting anything done and everyone around you is achieving really great things, stuff like that, you can go through and see, even if you only did a few things in that week, what they were, and it's right there for you to see. It's bold, it's circled, it's colorful, it has brackets, and that really helps. It also helps me, it's way easier to go back through and check off what I've actually finished if I can flip through real quick and be like, okay, it's pretty clear exactly how many movies or books I finished, because they're really big and bold here. So quickly I can see, oh, okay, I read 3 books, whatever. It makes life a lot easier to be able to just go through visually and do it. And then I can decide, hey, did I finish this or not? If I didn't, let's move it to the next month. Or I continue not to finish this, maybe I should change my goal. Maybe 5 is way too many for me and I should change it to 4, or I should change it to 3. It's easy to flip through, you know, month by month and say, okay, I read 5 books in March. I did read 4 books in February. And I read a ton in January. So, you know, it kind of, you can flip through and say, oh, okay, well, even though I didn't read anything this month, most months I've read at least 4 books. So again, for me, it's just really the visual thing. It's acknowledging those baby steps and that progress that you're making on these types of things. And so overall, that's pretty much how I've been using it for goal setting. I think the more I use it, the more things I will start to track in here. I'd like to track more specifically some of our like health related goals and things related to like healthful eating and, you know, being more specific on the exercising. And a lot of that just has to do with having the time to reapproach those goals in a different way. But I would also like to do it for cleaning schedule. But for now, you can see like that this is working pretty well for me, and I think the longer I use this system, the easier it will be to add in more things that I want to keep track of. So I think overall, that's pretty much what I do. I have some lists in here, like I said, of ideas of things to read next, watch next. For entertaining goals, I have like easy menus back here, stuff like that. Keeping those things on hand also helps me when I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a thing coming up and that's part of my goals and I want to do it well, but we don't have a lot of time. Then I can go through this list of, look, I've already written out an idea, and that helps me come up with something more quickly to like slot into that goal than to try to go through and make a whole new list, if that makes sense. So obviously everybody is different and everybody has to use their planner the way that works for them, but this is just the way that's been working for me for right now. So I guess if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, want to talk about what you do to track your goals in your planner, I'd love to hear about it, because like I said, this is my first time really being serious about it, and so it's always a work in progress. So anyway, leave some questions in the comments and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you have a great day.